Now available in paperback and e-readers, ISIS Legacy. Sorority secrets of the goddess next door are revealed in this all-new ISIS series adventure. Get ISIS Legacy in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Last week, so-called rapper Ruby Rose went to meet with her #1 fan, Brandon, who had spent $62,000 in 1 month on her OnlyFans. Now, Ruby Rose wanted to embarrass Brandon for spending that $62,000 in 1 month on OnlyFans and offering her close to $400,000 in 10 Bitcoin just to be able to be in her presence. Now, according to reports that Ruby Rose made, she stated she was meeting with her #1 fan and went out and presented several thirsty text messages from Brandon, who she gave her phone number to, in an effort to humiliate and emasculate Brandon. And after looking to humiliate and emasculate Brandon for being a cyber simp, Ruby Rose had to deal with a negative backlash on social media such as Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And this negative backlash, I believe, is the main reason why she has gone out here and made an about face as related to her meeting with Brandon, going on to say that the meeting wasn't real, that it was a so-called staged marketing stunt. Now, according to Ruby Rose, Brandon wasn't a fan who spent $62,000 on OnlyFans at all. No, he's a guy named Lamar who is a dog sitter for porn stars. This is the new story that Ruby Rose is looking to present. And I believe the only reason why Ruby Rose is looking to present this story is because she did not get the response that she thought she was going to get from the public as related to this whole incident, where she wanted to go out here and think she could go out here and emasculate and embarrass a man who had gone out here and spent $62,000 on her OnlyFans. Now, Ruby Rose's whole about face is very similar to the one of a black woman who made a viral video talking about how a date with a guy was not good enough at the Cheesecake Factory. In the aftermath of that viral video, that woman went on to try to say that the entire incident was a skit, and that incident basically was one where people were really getting angry at this woman's behavior. And I believe the main reason why women like Ruby Rose and the woman at the Cheesecake Factory and the woman who made the order of 48 oysters make these about faces is because they wind up being held accountable. And once they wind up being held accountable for their egregious behaviors, what happens is these women don't want to wind up losing face in the eyes of the public. So what they do is try to quickly revise their stories by saying that it's a skit or it's a stunt, but it's not a skit or a stunt at all. No, these are incidents where these women basically want to disrespect men, and once they wind up going out here and disrespecting men passively, they wind up aggressively having to deal with the backlash from the public. And when they have to deal with the backlash from the public, that's when they want to rewrite the story and tell a lie that it was a skit or a joke, or in the case of Ruby Rose, it's a hoax. But it's not a skit, a joke, or a hoax. It is an open effort to go out here and disrespect men, and men have to start standing up for themselves by maintaining a hard line to hold women like Ruby Rose, the woman at the Cheesecake Factory, and the woman who ordered the 48 oysters accountable for their behavior, because if you do not hold a hard line, these women will believe that they can get away with their egregious behaviors and escalate those behaviors to believe they can go out here and disrespect men by going out here and participating in extremely more disrespectful behavior, because it is extremely disrespectful for a celebrity to go out here and do what Ruby Rose did to her so-called number one fan in inviting him to passively go meet with her, but then aggressively posting all of his thirsty text messages to embarrass and emasculate him on social media. And that type of disrespect has to be checked, because if she'll go out here and disrespect a number one fan, then she's going to escalate her behavior to express more contempt for more men, and that's where men have to draw the line as related to Ruby Rose and let her know that this behavior is not going to be tolerated at all. Because if you wanted to go out here and meet with a number one fan, the thing that Ruby Rose should have done was show that man respect, and she didn't show that man any respect. No, what she did was throw up a middle finger at the number one fan and wants us to believe that this is the way that that we're supposed to believe that this was a stunt. But no, the whole thing was a thing to express disrespect for men, and many of Ruby Rose's fans basically saw it as disrespect directed at them, because the way she treated this man was a middle finger thrown up at him, and it's a middle finger thrown up at her fans. And this is why we have to stand and hold these people accountable, because it's not a joke when people openly disrespect you. No, when people disrespect you, you have to let them know they're out of line, and you have to take your respect by letting them know they are not going to get away with this egregious and disrespectful behavior, and let them know that they are not going to be able to brush off your respect, because your respect is the most important thing about you as related to your character, and you do not allow anybody to get a pass for disrespecting you. Now, this entire story Ruby Rose is coming up with really doesn't add up if you're somebody like me who has been studying the entertainment industry for many years. When she sits there and says this dog walker to porn stars is that's his job, that job doesn't add up, because as somebody who studied the entertainment industry, I know that most porn stars don't really make a lot of money. No, even with OnlyFans, many of these women are broke. So the average porn star on a film only makes, what is it, about $1,500 to $3,000 for a scene, and that's if they're participating in sodomy. If they participate in sodomy, they'll possibly get maybe $4,000 a scene, or $5,000 adjusted for inflation. But these women don't make a lot of money, and the money they make on OnlyFans isn't that much money. So this story ain't really adding up. It just sounds like something that Ruby Rose made up to avoid having to deal with accountability, which is something many females love to avoid. They love to avoid accountability and responsibility. So that's why they make these about faces and try to say, oh, it's a joke, oh, it's a skit, oh, it's a stunt. No, do not believe that at all, because if the public relations went good on these stories, these women would be out here celebrating everything as related to the attention they were receiving. But because they're receiving negative attention, what they do is try to make these about faces to avoid having to take responsibility for their behavior. And we have to hold them accountable because that sets a boundary as related to their behavior and sets a boundary that lets these women know that their unethical behavior will not be tolerated by both men and women in society. Both men and women in society, we've got to hold women like this accountable because their behavior is out of line. It is extremely disrespectful to go out here and disrespect men, because if a woman cannot show a man basic respect, then we need to withdraw our contact with these kinds of women. Because what, again, Ruby Rose did by a meeting with this number one fan was throw a middle finger up at him that showed she did not respect this man, even though he spent $62,000 on her, and showed him disrespect by embarrassing him by putting his business out in the street. And it's this kind of behavior you gotta hold accountable, because these actions are open forms of disrespect. And the sad part is we've got a lot of simp men who will go out here and believe Ruby Rose's story, look to give her a pass, and that opens the door for her looking to further disrespect men. And you got to nip this kind of behavior in the bud and let women know where the line is, because when women know where the line is, they will respect you because you set a boundary. And it's up to both men and women to set a boundary to let these women who pull these stunts on TikTok, like the Cheesecake Factory lady and the Oyster lady, know where the line is, and let celebrity like Ruby Rose know that they cannot go out here and openly disrespect a man or men as a collective. Because if you can get away with this type of disrespect, guess what? That says that they don't have to regard any man, and they don't have to treat a man like they would want to be treated, because according to the Bible, we're supposed to do unto others as we would want done unto us. And doing a guy dirty like this is something we've got to start checking, because this type of out-of-pocket behavior should not be seen as entertainment, because it's not a joke when a woman disrespects a man. No, it's something every man needs to take seriously, and it's something a man just can't let go, because if you let her go with this level of disrespect, which I believe is level 3 or 4 on Tariq Nasheed's 7 levels of disrespect, then the disrespect will continue to escalate, and that's why you've got to shut this down before it even starts. Now, if you want to learn to avoid being a cyber simp like Brandon, or Lamar as he calls himself, you can learn how to identify predators like Ruby Rose in my book, Stop Simping in Cyberspace. And if you want to learn how to break out of the simp paradigm that Brandon or Lamar was presenting, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, Google Play, and Barnes & Noble. And if you'd like to see me make more videos about breaking the simp paradigm, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and e-readers, E-Steam Horror of the Hyena Woman. Hell's aspiring angel takes on a wicked werewolf in this action-packed all-new E-Steam series adventure. Get E-Steam Horror of the Hyena Woman in paperback and e-readers today.
Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.